Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be going over the new content poll that has hit a voting station near you, as well as the Fishing Guild expansion update, and mainly having to focus on what items were affected, as in their prices, how you could have potentially taken advantage of this, as well as just my opinion on the updates and what I would like to pass and what I don't care about and which I don't think should pass. So let's get started. First off, the dev blog came out, I guess, 4 days ago now. We'll be looking into the viability of the normal spellbook, improving the preserve spell, introducing upcoming balancing changes, in addition of a host of other polled content. So initially I didn't even know this poll had come out back on July 5th. The only reason I realized it is because I was looking at the price of the Dragon Warhammer and I noticed it shot up by about 4 mil in pretty much just a day. And then I looked and oh, I guess the content poll is out, content poll 54. So let's have a look. The balancing changes are at the bottom, but we'll just go over all of it quickly. First of all, improvements to FTP. Honestly, I'm always excited when free-to-play gets something new because I do enjoy making free-to-play content occasionally, and it is kind of nice to have new things. Now what they're proposing is adding a Zamorak robe, tops and bottoms. This will just be a new mage item because honestly, maxing out your mage attack bonus in free-to-play takes like half an hour. It's just the blue wizard hat, wizard robes, as well as a elemental staff and an amulet of magic. Then you're pretty much done. So I think adding a couple extra items that can be obtained later on is kind of a good improvement. Now another free-to-play change is going to be adding the option of getting the amulet of accuracy again, which I think is good because I have no clue why they'd make it so you can only get one amulet of accuracy per account in the game. Of course, if you have access to the rank change, it's not a big deal, but for Iron Man, it's kind of ridiculous. If you lose your amulet of accuracy, you literally cannot get another one. So I think this is probably a good change. Hopefully it's passing. And most of all, I think adding Castle Wars to free-to-play is a great idea. Castle Wars is not nearly as popular as it used to be, and I think making it free-to-play would offer a huge incentive for a lot more people to go there. And I think it would be a lot more of a vibrant community if it was accessed by all the free-to-play players as well. So next up, they're offering to buff the preserve spell. I think inherently this is just not worth using, so I don't know if buffing this a little bit has affected anything. We'll have a look at the price here to see if anyone has put any more value on the preserve prayer spell. And I guess it has raised up a little bit, but only 30k, so I don't really expect this to be that much more useful. I mean, it's only 80k, so you can learn a new prayer, but still not that great. Desert Amulet 4, you can now teleport to the task-only Calphite Cave. Sure, not really affecting me too much. Okay, so we have a new binding spell being offered. Now, I really don't expect this to pass, mainly because they're offering a bind spell that could bind you for 20 seconds on the regular spellbook. In conjunction to this, they're offering for the Protect from Magic's protection spell to not actually have the duration of the stun, so you'd be stunned for 20 seconds regardless of what prayer you're using. Now, on top of this, you could also use Teleblock on the regular spellbook, which would honestly just make it a big clusterfuck. Puro Puro, pushing through the magical wheat found in Puro Puro, currently gives you 2 strength experience. Should we have a toggle? Honestly, you should just remove that. I don't really know why you're getting 2 strength experience anyway. It's not really any notable amount of experience. You can make a toggle, but honestly, you could just remove it. I don't think anyone would really care. Magic Skill Cape perk. Currently, you can change your spellbook once a day. That's not that great, considering it's not that hard to change your spellbook through someone else's home or your own home. I think increasing it to 5 a day is totally acceptable and probably a good change. We have the Blast Mine. Since the release of the Blast Mine, there's been a request to add an overlay similar to that of the Motherlode Mine. Why not? I mean, except for dev time, I don't see why anyone would be against that. Okay, so there's actually quite a few updates here, so we're just going to go have a quick look at some of the bigger ones that are probably more contested. Iron Man Pecan, don't think that's going to pass either, mainly just because it's creating more risk in the wilderness, and people generally have their own selfish interests in not wanting to lose your stuff, which is fair. I don't really want to either, but it is kind of a game integrity question. I don't think it's going to pass. Whether it's a good idea, I'd say it's probably a good idea to have more risk when you're fighting Iron Man, because currently there really isn't any. Okay, so these are all kind of just minor changes here, so let's just get down to, okay, one more here that I'm almost certain is going to pass is, should they reduce the Elite Clue Scroll steps to 5 to 7? I think that's absolutely a good idea because honestly, doing hard clue scrolls is probably worth it over doing elites based on your time and almost the rewards overall. So I think reducing them to 5 to 7 is good, because doing 12 steps is just ridiculously long. No other clue scroll was that long, so I don't see why elites should be that long as well. So let's get down here to the important part, which is the balancing and content changes. So the two monsters that have been nerfed essentially is the Lizardman Shaman and actually the Brutal Black Dragons. I did not notice it at first, they kind of just snuck it in here at the bottom. So first off, they're going to be removing the 2 Lizardman Shamans that you can safe spot, which I think is an excellent idea. In exchange, they're offering to put 8 Shamans as a Slayer only task, which I think is going to be cool. Doing them on task would be nice for the extra damage and the Slayer experience, and overall I think this is just a good change. Hopefully it's passing. Now that is pretty much why the Dragon Warhammer has been affected. Okay, so we're having a look at the Dragon Warhammer here. So like I mentioned earlier, once the content poll hit the website, the price shot up by quite a bit, and the main reason I don't think this is going to go back down is because the Lizardman Shaman are getting removed, at least the ones that you can safe spot, regardless of the update. So either way, unless for some reason this doesn't pass, it might shoot up even more. The price is going to remain up here because getting Dragon Warhammers is just going to be harder to get. A lot of people were able to safe spot them, but they were not able to fight them themselves. So I think the price will remain high up. If you'd had the chance and read the blog post right away, you could have very easily and safely invested in Dragon Warhammers and pretty much consistently known that they would go up. How much? Not quite sure, but they would be going up. So the last balancing change is actually on the Brutal Black Dragon. They're actually going to be adding a Slayer requirement to it, and in addition to that, they're actually removing the Dragon Full Helm from the drop table. So let's go have a look at the Dragon Full Helm. So if you'd been aware as soon as the content poll came out and you were one of the first to read it, you could have invested right in the Dragon Full Helms and been pretty much assured that they would go up, mainly because 1, adding a Slayer requirement to Brutal Black Dragons is going to reduce the amount of people able to kill them, and 2, they're straight up removing the Dragon Full Helm from the drop table and putting it onto the Mithril Dragons. So assuming that someone actually has level 77 Slayer and is able to kill both the dragons, people are still going to be killing the Brutal Black Dragons, mainly because of their consistent drops. No one is going to be killing Mithril Dragons just for the chance 1 in 32,000 of getting the Dragon Full Helm. So while it's going to reduce the amount of people able to kill them initially, and people might kill Mithril Dragons instead of Brutal Black Dragons, more than likely people will just do something else until they get 77 Slayer, and then they'll go do the Brutal Black Dragon. So, and since this is actually an unpolled question, I didn't realize that at first, but it looks like it's going to be going through regardless. For game integrity, the price is going to pretty much just stay up here. There's no chance of it failing or anything like that, so I don't really see the price going down, probably only up honestly as time goes on. So another update that has been implemented recently is the Fishing Guild expansion. Now what this is basically changing is offering another way of getting sharks in kind of a roundabout manner. So what you'll be doing is, once you have 82 fishing as well as the full angler outfit, you'll be able to access another fishing platform just outside of the Fishing Guild. What you'll do there is actually fish minnows with a small fishing net. It's a very click intensive method, mainly because the minnows change positions like every 15 seconds. There's a potential of a giant fish coming and eating your fish, which I guess is kind of a pain. But it does offer actually pretty reasonable experience rates as far as fishing goes. 40k is pretty good for fishing, and the GP per hour is around 400k, upwards of 650 once you max out. So the only item I could think this has actually affected is the Dragon Harpoons. Let's have a quick look here. So we can see here that the price of the Dragon Harpoon has hit a pretty much all-time low, and it is rebounding a bit because there always is an overcompensation to an extent, but I don't really expect this to go back up anytime soon, because honestly, anyone that is going to be fishing sharks will very soon have access to this method. It's only a 6 levels of difference, and it is just quite a bit better in every single way. The experience rate is substantially better, the GP per hour is extremely better, it's like 4 or 5 times better, and the Dragon Harpoon is just not used, so I don't really expect it to go back up. But like I said, there always seems to be a bit of an overcompensation as everyone's trying it, and some people might buy it back, so we'll get a little bit of a price increase, but not much. So that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's just a couple of the updates that have come out in July so far, and just my take on how you could have possibly predicted the price changes and maybe made some money on it, or if you're just here to see what has changed in RuneScape. Hope you enjoyed. Alright, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.